The fucking dream team. And hey guys, welcome to the SNP podcast, episode 4. Today let me introduce ourselves as we do always. We got Davester over here.
What's good?
And you know, he streams live on Twitch with me. We got Carlos, our tech news analyst.
What's up, guys?
And we got Jose.
Yo, what up? Limp Brisket out here. What's
Yeah.
up?
And so today we're going to be talking about a few things. Dave is going to be talking about the
Ancestry.com.
Ancestry.com. We'll keep it at that until he starts. And then we have something about 747s failing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be talking about why they're going down.
Okay. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Stadia, which is something about Google that they put it out in their game developers conference. And Jose, you're going to be we watched Captain Marvel
today, so I'll be doing a movie review on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm holding.
That's all right.
Okay.
Withholding.
Oh, I
You're
knew what you were
withholding.
gonna say.
Just like my therapist always tells me, you're withholding. You're withholding. And it's okay. Because you know what? You don't need to know my whole life story. I'm paying you.
Okay, so Dave, so explain to me, because I have no idea what you're going to be talking about with the Ancestry.com.
How was you guys' weekend? Was it good?
Pretty good.
It was good. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Would have helped if I knew who my ancestors were.
Interesting you should say that. No. I've been, so I submitted my test sample, if you will.
Oh,
to the
His semen
Ancestry.com.
sample?
Yeah.
They just send you a fleshlight. You just gotta go. That's
You gotta do
horrible.
what you gotta do, bro.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's like a whole process and shit, and it takes forever too. They're like expect 6 to 8 weeks minimum, like depending on the.
How long did it take you
It,
for your sample?
I still haven't gotten my results.
Oh.
Actually, I did it like a while ago too, dude. And like they're barely like yesterday they're like, okay, it's cool. That's the one cool thing about it is that you can download the app and it tells you like when it's your DNA has arrived there, when they're processing it, and when they're analyzing it. So I think I'm right at the last one where it's like analyzing DNA, and then they'll give you your results because they have like a large database that they use. They have like samples from all over the world, and then they can tell you like even if you're Mexican, this is like this because I was like no,
Even if you're
yeah.
the dirty mutt race.
I was like, they're just gonna tell me like either I'm like Mayan,
Yeah.
or they're gonna be like, oh yeah, your ancestors got raped like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because Palacios, my last name, is mostly Spaniard. That's the Spaniard last name.
I think that's what all Hispanics. That's what we all are. Just a
So-
mixture of either of both.
yeah.
But Palacios really like is like straight up like
Well-
they're so rare.
I mean, like
It's only in
Carlos
Spain.
over here didn't know about like Filipino is my race. I was like, he's like, she's not Filipino with that last name, and I was like, yes, Carlos, we were colonized.
I know. I know that
We
the,
were
that
colonized.
the Philippines were colonized by the Spanish, and that's why there are a lot of Filipinos with like
Spanish last names, yeah.
But continue.
Like,
Palacios is so, but yes. Like,
I mean, there's some like okay, Hernandez is like everywhere, right?
Yeah, I know.
But it's like I don't know. It's so rare that I find a Palacios. Even like I'm like, oh my god, you're a Palacios. Like it's like so special to me. So I did the whole thing, and then so I'm expecting results soon. I'm like almost. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so I had that in my head, and then I saw this headline that popped up where they're using Ancestry.com to solve murders and like
What?
cold cases.
Oh,
Have you heard about this?
Actually, no, but actually that would make a lot of sense. From just many times the police they just have databases full of DNA samples and they have no idea who that is. And
They got a lot of DNA samples from you, right? Too.
Hell yeah, shit. No,
but or
but
a strangler in the house. All right, let's do this.
okay, so yeah, I saw like a case happen where I don't know, I think it was like 10 or 20 years old. This case, and I'm like gonna probably fucking screw this up, but from what I remember is like somebody used Ancestry.com. It was that site specifically, and I guess Ancestry.com is like working with the government. They're like, oh yeah, you guys can just take our samples and shit to solve murders if you want. They ran that with their database and it's happened also in Canada with another site, not Ancestry.com, but it's happened like multiple cases now.
23andMe.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't 23andMe. It was something from Canada because it was free in the Canada case.
You can do it for free.
But they probably have used 23andMe too.
Dude, Canada's kicking my ass.
Hell yeah, bro. That healthcare. And then they're like, so it's free, and they ran it with their database, and basically it's like the genetic profile was like a certain percentage match. It wasn't like 100%. So they're like, oh shit, like, you know, it's somewhere in this dude's family line. So then that's when, like, it's happened with multiple cases where they like look through, and then they find with one of the dudes, they had like a certain amount of, like, they're like, it's got to be this guy, and they couldn't find a, you know, DNA sample from him, and he didn't want to disclose his one. And then they found like a paper cup or like napkins, and they took the DNA sample from there, and they fucking found out that it was this dude that killed this person so many years ago. And that's actually how they found the Golden State Killer, which was like a 20-year-old case and shit. And they
Golden State.
Yeah, and they fucking like took I think he like drank a cup, and then he like threw it out, and then they grabbed that cup, they used the DNA sample, and they used it with the sample that they had so many years ago, and it was like a perfect 100% match.
Damn.
And they're like, you motherfucker, you've been raping bitches and fucking killing them, motherfucker, like you're going to jail.
That's not the first time I've heard something like that, because with at least with 23andMe, a lot of families have been reunited and also broken up for that same reason.
Yeah, because they find out that like they've been unloyal and shit, right?
Yeah. Because many times it's like, you know, that like the whole family might do it, and then they just, you know, all of a sudden shows up that the dad has like a, you know, it says like, oh, you have a brother living in South America. And you're like,
it's crazy, dude. It's so funny because it even asks you. It's like, hey, bro, what are you using this for? Do you just want to know what your ancestors are, or do you want to go deep?
Oh, really?
They're like, do you want to know if people are fucking in the system that are like related to you? Mm-hmm. And I was like, hell yeah, I want to know everything. Tell me everything,
man. I really want to know that kind of stuff because I need money.
Money. No, and then it was funny because like I even like talked to my parents. I was like, hey, I'm doing this, so like I'm gonna know anything in case you guys need to like say anything.
And then somebody's like, no way.
And they're like, I know, seriously, dude. They gave me that vibe. They're kind of like, oh.
Well, just knowing what happened to me, I mean, I didn't know about like me having family till I was like 18, so like I totally found that shit out.
Oh, yeah. Remember when I told you I was 23 years old? Me and my mom were drinking wine, and I was like, oh yeah, when your dad was like 19, he got some girl pregnant in Chile. So I have a half sister in Chile. So
wow, really?
Yeah,
Where at?
I don't know, in Chile. I don't know.
Chile.
Yeah, my dad was in the Navy, so he like kind of, you know, sailed.
Chile ni modo, and Chile pasó, güey.
Yeah, so I've like, she's probably like 34 or something like that.
Dude, you should totally do that. Either Ancestry or 23.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna
maybe
say,
you can be
yeah,
reunited
with her. Yeah,
yeah.
A lot of people reunited.
But they also have to be in the system.
No, but they a lot of people, like also people that got adopted that don't know anything about their parents, they also submit to this, and they're like, dude, I got reunited with like a half sister that I never knew I had, and they like look exactly the same and shit. There's been lots of stories like that. Right. And it also kind of reminds me almost like, you know, where they're solving 20-year-old cases and shit, where it's like almost like Minority Report.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like,
Never
oh
saw that movie,
shit,
but
do
I
you
know the
want
gist
to
of it,
like
yeah.
submit your, I mean, like it gets into that kind of like moral conundrum where it's like putting your DNA into a system could kind of like put somebody into the, you know, like into trouble. But it's like, dude, if you murdered somebody, your ass needs to go. You know, like I have no problem with like, you know, submitting my DNA and if it
Murder's
incriminates
never
somebody.
fine to do unless it's for honor or because someone looked at you funny or because Kevin keeps on taking some of my mouthwash, which I've started like putting a marker line on the mouthwash every time I use it, so that when I erase it, I know if he's using it.
Kevin's like, I just put vodka.
I just don't give a shit.
Oh shit. Yeah, so
money, boy.
Where's my money? Bring your ass home.
Hello, Kevin.
yeah, that's all I got. That's
Okay.
it.
All right, Carlos. Now explain to me with the 747s. How are they going down? Or because well, you know, these planes are pretty old. So
No, actually, these are the brand new planes. That's
brand new planes
brand
are
new
failing.
planes. Yes, yeah.
Who manufactures planes on so Boeing is the company, right?
If it's not Boeing, I'm not going.
No, it is
After
Boeing.
the podcast, talk to me about that comment. Because I would like to display some sort of violence.
No,
yeah, go ahead.
No, so so still they don't have an official reason why they're failing.
Yeah.
But one of the things that a lot of things that everyone's pointing to is the autopilot system. Because the autopilot system is because both planes that when they went down for kind of like in the same time frame and they were doing kind of like the same maneuvers where the plane was taking off, and maybe at some point for whatever reason the pilot decided to go a little bit steeper than normal. So that's when the autopilot kicked in and it engaged to try to stabilize the plane again. But somehow that's kind of faulty, and that's kind of trying to turn the plane around or to bring it to a level position. And that's where also the autopilot's doing one thing, the pilot's trying to do another thing, and both of them are kind of fighting. And the thing with both pilots, I don't know what they call, but like the main pilots. I forgot I forgot that they have a special name.
The pilot?
No,
Isn't it the
pilot? no, because it's usually either the main pilot and then the co-pilot.
Yeah.
And then a third one. I forgot their names too.
Wait, there's a third pilot?
Peach?
Sometimes, on bigger,
Scrub pilot
bigger,
everyone
more
keeps on.
complex planes. Yeah, you got three. But yeah, like
The
sometimes.
whipping boy pilot.
All right, go ahead.
So the thing that with these planes, with these new planes, because they're so new, a lot of these pilots, they don't have that much experience to fly them or to either turn off the autopilot. And it's not just the autopilot. It's not like just press one button and the autopilot just turns off. It's you have to do several a couple steps. Turn off the autopilot, turn off this other thing, and that's it. But because the crash only takes a couple seconds for it to happen, or so that's where kind of like the inexperience of those pilots. That's where it's
Comes into play.
yeah. And then and then also I read a report about that even U.S. pilots, when American pilots, when they were being trained to fly these planes, they got like one or two a couple more hours of extra flight time of practice of training. But the thing is that even because these planes are so complex that even if you flew these planes for like 100 hours or 1,000, for about 100 hours of training, they are not. It's not too much when it comes in the grand scheme of things.
It's like not what they should be getting.
Yeah, because they're just so that complex.
Oh wow.
So during an emergency like that, that's when you kind of have to be, you have to go right on the spot. What's going on?
Into rapid decision making.
Yeah. You have to be like, well, yeah. So this is happening. So I already know what needs to be done. And maybe the training is focusing on just how to fly the plane and going lightly on the what would happen during an emergency.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, because I imagine like when that happens, adrenaline's rolling and you're just fucking all over the place.
everyone has lots of ideas what to do, and
Yeah.
you try them all.
My first idea would be not to crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that but the thing is that you're flying the plane and the plane is already like doing its own thing and you were like fighting it and it's not doing what you wanted and you turning things off and it's like still no.
So how many crashes have there been?
2.
Oh, okay. So still in the
Is this
single digits.
aside
All
from the
right.
September 11th
Yeah.
attacks
Yeah.
or including them? Oh, we going deep now.
I'm pretty sure those were on purpose.
Tower 7, look into it. All right, we're going.
But yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay. So mine was Google decided to get into the game space of everything. So so a little while back, just because I wanted a free video game, they were doing something called Project Stream. And that's when basically they let everybody be able to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey through their data centers. And it worked pretty well. I thought it was very interesting because you can play AAA titles on anything.
Like even your phone?
Yeah, even your phone. Because all it is it's just transmitting, like they render it on their end and they just send you the video feed.
So there's
and
like
then
no
you play.
lag?
There was like no lag. I was a lot of people are concerned about the latency issues, but I didn't find.
What's your internet speed?
Huh?
What's your internet speed? For instance, at home, I have 25 gigs. No, sorry, 25 megabytes at home.
Per second?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you
is ours
have?
here?
Ours is like 125.
Well, maybe that's why. Because, for instance, in my home, I have 25. That I think I would experience some lag because it's not just me. It's my parents, and myself.
Yeah, but then that's just a bandwidth issue, not so much.
I know. So
latency.
but still, I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
will most likely experience.
Yeah, but
Like,
I
super dope in this house, and we pay for.
Yeah.
super dope
That
We
internet.
pay for the
premium
greatest.
shit, that fiber optic cable.
so yeah, that was just one aspect. That was
Feel it in
just
my veins when I-
that was just something they were testing, Project Stream. So you played that with their data centers, but then now what they're trying to do is make a whole new platform of it.
Okay.
So where you can play games, you can live stream and all that, and using all Google's data center stuff. So you don't even have to have a setup. So kind of like when me and you live stream, we have our computers encoding the videos for us and playing the video games for us all at once. With them, they had different things where it's going to do the encoding. So in different platforms, they also combined YouTube with it. So not only can you play your AAA title, you can also live stream your stuff using their hardware.
at the same time, with
Yeah.
no penalty on anything.
Yeah, with no penalty on anything, because all you're doing is just putting the video feed to your
So
computer.
then, in that case, the only variable that would affect like lag and shit
Is them.
is your Wi-Fi speed.
Your internet connection. Yeah,
So if you have like a
Yeah.
premium, awesome connection and Wi-Fi plan and all
Yeah,
that, then
yeah.
you're like,
yeah, you're good to go. And another thing that was really cool with them is one I thought was a feature really cool. They called it Stream Connect. So me right now, my favorite game right now that I'm super addicted to is The Division 2, right? And it's a squad based. No, it's squad based.
I haven't played it. I
Oh
want
my
to play it.
god!
You should.
But
Yeah.
Told you
no,
not to
so
do this.
no, it's a squad based game. So everybody's like, we all have to talk about what we're doing. It's like, oh, I'm attacking here, you're pushing up front, blah blah blah. With Stream Connect, what they would do is, as you're playing the game, you can take their video feeds and put picture in picture in the thing. So you can have your squad mates' video feeds on the thing. So you can be playing and looking at their video feeds too.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was something that I thought was a very
It's a game
cool
changer
feature.
right there.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't know about game changer, but that's really cool.
I want
Really,
to sign with
really.
You
David on
can-
Game Changer.
You can visually see where your enemies are. I mean, like before they're like, "Oh, it's in this direction." You could just look on the radar and be like, "Okay, well, he's looking in this direction, so I think it's like around there."
yeah. Well, I mean,
Definitely
I
adds another element.
I don't know. Like for me, I'm just thinking it's. I think it's gonna be just very cool because let's say you're somebody who's like, okay, I can't spend like $2,000 on a bomb ass computer to do all this stuff, but let's say they do a subscription plan,
You know, one of the
$10-15 a month, and you get access to all that. I think that might be
and then
something
you
what
would
they're
just
trying
have
to
buy
do.
the games.
Huh?
And you still need to buy the games.
Yeah, you probably still need to buy the games,
But you don't own them.
But Apex
well, I mean,
is free though.
we don't buy games currently right now either.
I would not play Apex, even if it was
We
for
don't own
free.
them.
You did play Apex
play
with
it, though.
me,
You played it with
motherfucker.
I played the demo.
and you
the
liked
di-
it.
What demo? There was no demo. It just launched for free.
Anthem?
Apex?
Oh, we're talking about Apex?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why. I thought we were talking about Anthem.
Oh, I was like, motherfucker,
No.
you play this shit
Carlos,
with me.
dude, we were getting all riled up. Dude, I grabbed Kevin's leg. I was like, dude, can you stop me from killing someone?
Wait,
on
you
the
really
road?
hate Anthem
Yeah.
that much?
Anthem, yeah, Anthem.
Yeah.
I have
so
really,
cool.
No, it's cool.
I
looking,
had
but it's like, let me tell
really
you
high
something.
expectations for the game. I wanted to succeed so bad, and then when it just came out to being like pile of garbage, I'm like,
What if they do? What if they pull like
it's too late.
What was the one that they did it?
They lost their, they lost it.
What about that one game? What's it called? The one where you could like discover fucking universes and shit.
Oh, you're talking about
Which one of all?
no.
There was only like one that did it. Like, wasn't it like, what was it called?
Andromeda.
No, he said No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. Everybody hated it. and
Oh,
they
because what they were expecting was different.
Yeah.
right.
So it's
But they-
procedurally generated,
But
so
since
like
now they
Diablo
have
and
come
stuff.
back
Yeah,
and
they
came
listened.
full scale
Yeah.
with like all the criticisms and fixed
Right.
like a lot of things.
And a lot of people
So
are
a
liking
lot
it
of-
now.
Yeah, a lot of people say now. Well, it's still on PS4 exclusive or no?
No, it's on PC.
It's on PC.
Yeah.
So now, what people have saying is that the game that is out now is from what it was getting, which was like 50 to 60%, like positive reviews. It has shot up to 80% like positive reviews.
Wow.
Can I just say, we hate on Fortnite so much,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
Only because
Well
it's
deserved.
stupid.
okay, all right.
Hey,
But the
they do
one
have the
thing,
magic
the
sauce,
one
though.
thing
This
that
side
we
it was like jab, jab, jab.
Yeah, yeah.
No. With Fortnite, I will say I don't like it, but I will say that
Wait,
like
let me-
it runs well. But okay, go ahead.
Let me just say what the one thing that we can appreciate from Fortnite is that what do they do that's right? They always listen to the fucking players. Anytime the
Yes.
players complain about something,
They listen to the
they
community.
fix that shit within a week.
Really?
Yes, and that's
Dude,
the
I can't
one
even
thing.
do that in a relationship.
And we can all learn in our personal lives that the one thing that Epic Games has gotten down right, and they have introduced into the video game the whole genre is like they listen to their fucking consumers and they fucking change that shit.
Nice.
And that's the one thing that we can appreciate because it's like Anthem right now has the opportunity to listen to what people don't like about it and like do something or
They're
just
an ass.
fucking.
No. It's like they're on their high horse of like, this is a
They're
great
not
game.
going to do good.
They're not going to do good. But a year from now, that game will release, and Kevin will do like something we're planning on doing for Kevin is like a review on a game, like post fact, like years after, and like how they fix things. And if Kevin can let us know, like if it's worth it, like 6 months after the line,
Oh, yeah.
have the updates made it worth it? Have they reduced the price for it because they're struggling? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's look at a game like Battlefield 5. How it came out for the holiday season last year,
And
Yeah.
it came
now
out
it's
kind of
bad.
broken.
now it's like $30, right?
Yeah, and I had fun.
And I had fun, but it's like, well, I mean, he had fun, but like I bought it or he got it for me as a gift, and I think that it would be a great game now, but not on release. So reviews on things post fact, that's something I'm actually interested in hearing.
I just want to bring back about to recap about Google's Strava, no Stadia.
Stadia, yeah.
Thank you. Do you know how that works?
Well, I know how like the data center stuff, but I know we were talking earlier about like the control.
Yeah, because that's one of the cool things or maybe why I think these might actually work a little bit better than the previous companies, because the controller, because well in the past everybody was you had your controller and then you had your streaming box, and then that streaming box connected to the services. So the thing with this is that you don't connect to any box. That controller connects directly to the Wi-Fi, and then it goes from the controller to the data centers, instead from the controller to the box, from the box over there.
So just the controller straight up.
Yes.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah, and which means also that you can actually game on anything Google related. If you have a Chromecast on your TV.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, they did put that in their presentation. That the little $30 Chromecast, they were able to play. the game.
So that means that your controller connects to the Wi-Fi to the data centers, and you're only using the Chromecast just to stream video.
Dang. So
So-
in terms of latency, how does that?
That might
It will
cut
be less
Yeah,
latency.
it cuts less latency because Wi-Fi in and of itself, either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, they always have latency. So that at least that cuts
Cuts.
because
Yeah,
you don't.
there's a less point of failure.
Yeah, or
One less.
or like one less thing you have to connect. So
Yeah.
and it's usually there's
Go through.
even if it's like a 1 or 2 milliseconds latency
That's
between
still
the
like-
controller.
yeah.
Yeah, it's still
Wow.
it adds
cool.
up. So that's one of the cool things about
Interesting.
that I like. But I don't know if I like the idea of Google getting into the video streaming game
Why is that?
industry, because Google is a huge company. They have deep pockets. They can just go in and be like, give me the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And if this actually takes off, Google is going to almost immediately become one of the bigger players
Okay.
in the industry, and that's something. Google will become another monopoly in another sector.
But isn't that good to always have competition, because then we as the consumers
If
always
Google-
come out winning?
Well, what if it happens the same thing as with the search engines? Does anyone else use Bing?
No.
See?
What is Bing?
Oh
You
yeah.
know, that's the only thing. Even though, yes, I like Google, a lot of things that Google does, and a lot of the services, and I use a lot of the services. I sometimes I don't think that I always want competition, but on some things, I do believe Google is too big on some things,
Oh.
and that's where we kind of break it down. And this whole streaming thing, this whole streaming technology, I don't know. That's the only thing that I'm kind of a little bit worried. Like, what if they get too big in that stream?
I don't think they're gonna get too big, but it's definitely gonna add another.
Component.
Yeah.
Well,
component.
because I mean, what are they actually bringing to the industry?
Well, I think with this, it's
Is
basically
it just a new console? It's not a new console.
no, not a new console. I think it's just letting other people be able to play.
Because if anything, I think it's gonna.
That's how I thought when I saw Project Stream before they announced it as Stadia.
Yep.
I just thought it was like, oh, I can play AAA game without having anything.
Because now that I think about it, if anything, I think it's going to hurt PC games. Because all of these games that are being streamed, they're not console games; they're PC games. So,
Yeah.
so I think if Google becomes big enough, they could actually start, pushing their way around game industries. Kind of saying like, hey, kind of, what if we made this game for the PC a little bit, kind of like maybe make the graphics lower or decrease something just to make them run better on our servers.
Well,
that we
no,
can
I
get
don't.
up their
No,
frame satisfaction.
the server stuff will just work well.
Well,
Regardless,
I know.
because you got a lot more computing power. I think, in
It's
fact,
not-
I think what it will do, it'll be actually pretty good for in the long run later down for PC gaming is because I think everybody will still have personal computers. Like anyone who's hardcore elitist PC gamer like me will I love to have my PC everything and I do everything. with it.
But that game on your PC will be lower because it has to match the same thing that Google has on the.
Well, no,
servers.
I just think it's just they'll have less whatchamacallit, things to optimize for. Optimization will be something that I don't know.
I have a question. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have one question. What do you guys think about the whole 5G thing coming in?
Yes,
playing with this?
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say because they did announce that it will work like on your Android phone, so like my Google
It'll work
Pixel.
on anything that
like-
can stream video.
Yeah, so on Android phones.
And
So I was like, 5G would be a great component for
Yeah.
that. And if we're gonna go into the subject of 5G, 5G is amazing, but the thing is that much speed and bandwidth will not benefit us if we still have these
Data caps.
really retarded low data caps.
That's a
Can't
horrible
say
word
that
to say.
word.
you know.
Or I'm sorry, I apologize. No, but like
Yeah. What'd you
no,
say?
it's
The
really dumb that we have these data caps because
Oh, okay.
you could easily these data caps, like one of them's like 4 gigs for the entire month. I was like, okay.
I don't know. I'm on
Well,
Sprint.
gig.
I got that.
Almost
unlimited.
No,
Everyone
I got
offers 1
no.
gig.
I'm just talking about the tiered plans. I have unlimited too, also. But
For me,
it's
4G to 5G, it's like if I was getting like hood respect, if I had 5Gs, I wouldn't get that much more respect than if I had 4G. So
But you got like an automatic weapon now instead of a Glock. That's the
that's
difference.
all right. I mean, at that point,
get more
yeah, I'm willing to
respect.
flip out on it.
no, but with 5G, you'll actually have internet that's faster than our home internet on your phone, available all the time.
Allegedly.
Because I mean, if you think about it, allegedly.
Allegedly. Dude, we're not in a
I'm sorry.
courtroom right
In
now.
theory.
You're not a lawyer right now.
In
You're
theory.
it's like
We're
in
never-
theory. Not proven. Just ban that shit.
I object.
Because I mean, if you think about it, anytime that you're like in a dentist's office or whatever, waiting room, whatever the fuck. I mean, what's the one thing that you do? You get on your phone, right? I mean, there's so many apps and games and all that. Imagine if you just had 5G and you could just fucking pull up and play like whatever the fuck you wanted, in Division 2 or something like that, in a little amount of time. I don't know how it would play with the touchscreen, but I mean, something like that.
There's
They'll
a
figure it
market for
out.
everything. They'll figure it out.
No, they have little controller things because I did this
yeah.
work with Steam Link. Steam Link, on the other hand, so before Steam Link, you could only use it within your home Wi-Fi, but now they made it Steam Link anywhere. So as long as I have a good data connection, I can access my home computer and play my games on my phone. And I actually have a little clip where I can
shit.
clip.
That is
I actually have a
like
clip.
that service more.
Yeah, I actually can clip my Xbox or my phone to
I'm sorry.
an Xbox controller,
Not too far.
so I can just play my games on there with my controller.
That's amazing.
Jose, you're gonna be talking. We watched Captain Marvel today.
Well,
we're gonna
first
review
off,
on
I just
it.
want to start off with a shout out to my homie Sergio. He died today.
Dead man.
Why am I laughing?
Turned out
Oh,
they cut open his shoulder and they found a huge
Tumor.
in there, and it was filled with bitch.
Oh,
I'm sorry, no, he's still alive. He'll be on the next podcast, except if he doesn't make it, which he always doesn't. So he shout out to him. Speedy recovery. See him back on there. See him online.
we'll be waiting for you,
We'll
Sergio.
be waiting for you. But bringing it back to Captain Marvel. So yeah, we saw that today. I'm super excited because, again, like the last podcast, we were talking about the Avengers movie coming out, and we haven't had the biggest lapse in Marvel movie. I think history came out where it's like we just had a big amount of time between Marvel movie to Marvel movie, and this was the biggest one. So Captain Marvel is gonna set us up to go into the Avengers Endgame.
Did it?
And then afterwards we'll get Spider-Man.
Fuck yeah!
What is that one called?
Actually,
It's not Homecoming. It's
It's Far From Home.
Far From Home. There you
No,
go.
actually, Captain Marvel doesn't set anything up. Captain Marvel, the movie that just came out, was just like a.
I would like.
No,
was
it's just character builds her a little
It was just kind of like a tell me the story of
All
where
right, can I give my
where it
review,
comes
Carlos?
from.
Or
All right, let's
stop?
let him
This
give
is
his
my
review.
subject.
All right, let's let him give you a review, and then he'll shit on it. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
I will not let you shit on this.
I
So
don't know.
we did watch that, and factually, yes, it is something. It sets it up in the fact where it's like it's adding another character into it, and you're gonna know where this character's coming up from, right? But it is before the times. It's set in the 90s, right? We got that impression.
Yeah, it's in the 90s.
In the
60s. No, it's not in the 60s. No, not the 80s. It's the 90s.
it's. I'm pretty sure it's the 90s.
Is
right?
it like a perfect representation of the 90s?
It
'Cause I saw
is.
Blockbuster video.
actually,
and I was
you-
like,
Yeah.
It is.
So they landed into the blockbuster in the beginning. But regardless, overall, I just say just to start it off, I was super impressed with the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I think it really stands alone. I could watch it. I could watch it again, right? And still be taken back by some of the comedic relief in it, by the character development in Captain Marvel. The cons that I would have to say is that sometimes I feel like her smartassery.
Like how she
acts and how she comes back at people and stuff like that. It's not really believable to me. Like it seems like a little bit
Scripted.
forced and scripted. But that was my only real con with it. And even then, I can still do with it because I still really like her as an actor. And you were saying like she was. Well, I think you said she was in the Scott Pilgrim movie, and then that clicked for me because I don't remember.
wait,
it.
she
Yeah.
was in Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah, so she was the one who for the band Attack at Demon Head or Clash at Demon Head. She was the singer of the band.
I don't think
Also,
that
Scott
she was. I think
Scott
that
Pilgrim,
was the girl.
Scott Pilgrim's ex-girlfriend, also
Fight,
Yeah.
fight.
the blonde girl.
No,
that-
I'm pretty sure she's the girl with the colored hair.
No,
Oh my god.
I know who Brie Larson is.
Yeah, isn't the girl with the colored hair the one that was in? Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's a different character. Oh yeah, you can do that and be proven wrong if you're gonna.
Ooh. By the way, Love, Death, and Robots. Holy shit! Did you guys see that?
Oh no, what was it? My buddy Susan was saying it.
Yeah,
Watch
is that
that.
okay? So
On
that's the
Netflix.
first that I heard of it, and then I saw the ad on Facebook.
Yeah.
God damn, it's crazy. But
Never
we'll
mind,
get
you're
into
right.
that later.
Yeah, I know I'm right because I
Watch
already
it if you
researched.
haven't had a chance. Watch it. It's awesome.
You know what? You know about the movie?
Ramona Flowers.
No.
Yeah, Ramona Flowers is-
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, right.
Captain Marvel, the movie itself, yes, the movie itself was a good movie. It is a good movie. However, I think it's the actress that kind of like, she doesn't portray Captain Marvel the way that it's supposed to be.
How is it supposed to be portrayed, Carlos?
Captain Marvel, she's supposed to be to be a little bit like a funny and smart ass girl.
I thought she was funny and smart ass.
It seems like I know, but it seems like the actress herself, like everything was scripted to be funny, but she didn't know how to portray, how
Okay,
to
so I
make
do
it
agree with
funny.
Carlos a little bit on that. I feel like it felt a little bit forced. Sometimes there were some unbelievable moments, but there also had some great moments where I feel like she was nailing it. I just feel like that's their first time portraying the role. It was like
This is a very big role for her.
Yeah.
Because like I said, she probably played in some other small, but the biggest one that I've seen was when she was the Scott Pilgrim's ex-girlfriend in the movie.
and I mean, regardless, overall, I'm gonna say like I give it probably like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll agree
I
with you
feel
there.
like there's a post-credit scene that I thought like was really good that blends it in, and then an even funnier post-credit scene to that I feel like is just like Marvel.
Wait, there's a
fucking around.
post credit scene.
There's 2 post-credit
Yeah.
scenes, right?
So like mid credits and then end credits.
It's like
Yeah.
middle of the credits and then post credits, right? And then there are some moments in there which is like me and Kevin, some like slap happy moments that I think we were really like happy with, that we were cracking up with.
You
And
guys
then
were
there
making
was and then there was another moment where I feel like I could have heard a whole theater laughing if we actually had a whole theater there, but with post fact, right? But
Yeah.
there's a scene where there's a loading screen happening, right? They stick something into the computer and they're loading it up, and there's like a little bar going, and it's like
The CD.
Back in the days.
And then the alien character is just like staring at it, and he's like,
What's it doing?
What's it doing? And then Nick Fury is like, it's loading, and it goes back to like another like alien guy, and he just like looks at it and just stops. that alone, I think that won me over for it, because it's like that comedic relief was really, really good. I mean, besides the fact, I know that a lot of people had different opinions on it based on the fact that we're like, I don't know, I feel like anytime there's like a female lead character now, after so many female lead characters in cinema right now moving forward, everyone has like a problem with it or what it means.
Well, for me, it's the problem. It's not. It wasn't that it was a female lead role. For me, it's that actress. For me personally, it was the actress. And then the number two thing is that whenever the green guys were talking, whenever the actors talked, it sounded like they were wearing a mask. I don't even notice that. So every time that they talked, it took me out of the experience because it sounded like they were wearing a mask.
Maybe they'll take you out of the experiences that you didn't see with your best fucking friends.
Ooh, wait.
Maybe because
you never
you
woke
guys
me
went
up.
to say without me. You never guys said anything.
No,
good.
no, you said it like a couple
I
weeks
also
ago.
have to
So
say
we're
that
gonna
you
go
didn't
into
invite
this
me either.
part of this where it's called like break down the group chat. I'm about to show you guys all the group chat and talk about how we all invited everyone to go see this movie, but
I wasn't there.
everyone's a big piece of shit. No, I'm just playing. That's not gonna be a real story.
All right, I have a question.
All
Have you seen Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
DC made it better for a female lead role.
Yeah.
DC made it better.
Okay, so I have his vote. I did wanted to know in your opinion.
I thought she did amazing.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
It's the same rating, 8 out of 10. I think that's exactly.
All right, I didn't even ask my question. I said Wonder Woman. What's her name? Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I actually
Captain Marvel. Which
that-
one do you think is
But-
the
but
best?
Wonder Woman.
I would actually
Black
Wonder
Widow's
Woman?
a supporting character. Does she have her own movie?
Gal
Black Widow?
Gadot is
No.
holy
She is gonna get her own
shit.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but,
we
I
can't
think- I
add
think
her
the
in because
actress-
she doesn't have her own movie.
Scarlett Johansson would have been a much better Captain Marvel than whoever
I
played
mean, now
her.
you cast it then, Carlos. Who's the best Captain Marvel? That's
I don't know.
Scarlett Johansson. She's already in the
Michelle
universe.
Rodriguez, what's up?
What's up?
No, she's not.
I don't know.
I
I,
don't
think
see
Brie
her as
Larson
Captain
did
Marvel.
an awesome job for
She did a
as
good job.
the amount of pressure and stuff like that. Like everybody,
To
it's
see
just
her
you being a
also
little
in
bit
the
of an
Endgame-
elitist.
The Endgame like trailer where she's there and she's not scared by like Thor bringing his hammer like right back to his hand. I
Do you
thought that was
see
like
a future romance? A romance?
They're gonna force that. If they force it, that's gonna be the downfall of the movie.
I thought it looked good.
why is
I know.
Carlos the hater dude right now?
Yeah, dude.
I'm not
I
hating
hear
it.
a lot of
No,
hate.
I'm not hating
Force,
it.
bro.
No, because remember why Star Wars, The Return of the Jedi, the last movie that came out.
Which one? God damn it.
Well, the last one that just
The
came
Last
out.
Jedi.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because one of the reasons why it failed is because they tried to force the love interaction between
Finn and
Finn and the other girl. Is
The
like,
Asian girl?
Yeah, it's like stop forcing it. If it's not meant to happen, like don't force
Well,
love.
yeah, because it's just like,
Don't-
where
yeah.
did this come from?
I like that.
Yeah, it's like didn't come from anywhere, and then two, it was forced. That's the thing one of the reasons why it failed. It wasn't the main reason, but so whenever they force love in any movie, people will already like start to hate it from that point on. It's like, and then after that point, they just start to nitpicking all the things about the movies. Like, yeah, I don't like this, I don't like that either.
¿Sabes qué? All you guys are nerds.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
But let's move
Pinche
on.
nerd.
So
Okay. So okay, you were gonna pick up something about is Netflix streaming killing the cinema?
okay, so I've seen multiple videos on this, but actually this came through a follow-up video to the new Quentin Tarantino movie that's going
We
to come
haven't
out.
even talked.
I know, I understand, but I saw a trailer on it, and it went into kind of how people think that Netflix and video streaming is killing the cinema industry, and I have like strong opinions on this too because I am a huge fan of going down
On
to
me?
the movies just to catch a film. Like I feel like it's kind of like it's a platform. Like you go there, you get popcorn, you sit down. You're engulfed in the
It's an
screen.
experience.
It's an
It's not
experience.
just watching a movie. It's an experience.
Yeah, and it's like the sound, the film, like the lights, even like hearing someone say comments, like that's always funny to me too. Like hearing people like say, "Oh snap!" Like that kind of stuff, like really like people going off at certain parts during the film, like watching a film like that. It not only like every Star Wars film, I go watch it once and then I go watch it by myself.
And then you hate it.
And then I kind of hated the last one. Yes, I understand, but we already talked about that. But it's like I really feel like now what's killing the industry is like most everything that you could do. Like some people skip the cinema experience and they just wait for it to come home, and it's not that hard to wait another 2-3 months, right? It's like, can you really avoid a couple of reviews? Just come back home and watch it later. I mean, I used to watch a movie a week, and since work, I have not been able to, but I would like to get back into it because I do love seeing a movie every week. I do love seeing a film before everyone gets to see the film and really put in there.
Do that. Go ahead.
So it's how I feel. I mean, how do you guys feel? Do you really feel like you enjoy going to the movies anymore, or is that just something that you just don't really care for?
I do enjoy going to the movies for the same reasons. The whole experience, the popcorn, the smell, the better sound, the better image.
He loves the smell, especially.
Like the whole thing. That's what I like about movies. But the thing is, one of the reasons why I don't go to movies so often is because it's just so damn expensive.
Yeah,
it's like everything is like, even if you go by yourself, you still end up blowing like $20, which is
that's just on popcorn.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna put this out today. Classic Cinema is the place we went to today. If you go before 4, you catch a movie for $5, and it would have been just $10 for me and Kevin together. I choose to get popcorn because popcorn is like guilty pleasure for me, and a big dumbass soda because I have diabetes and I'm gonna feel that shit till I gone, baby. But it's
the thing is that I like to watch it. The movie came out on IMAX, so I went to watch it on IMAX.
Marvel, Captain Marvel,
bro.
Yeah. And because, like I said, I go for the experience. I don't just go to watch a movie. I want the full experience, like as best as I can get it to. So maybe that's why for me it's a bit more expensive. But yeah, I mean
that could have also affected your opinion because you feel like, oh, she ruined this movie. I paid so much money. Whatever, dill hole. Sorry.
Well, the theater that I go to, they also serve beer, so and alcohol in shots.
All right, I understand both of you guys. I mean, like, sometimes movies should be experienced in a movie theater.
Yeah.
And very rare occasions like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse should be experienced in IMAX. And when I say IMAX, by the way, there's like a little thing where the real IMAX to me is
I'd like
the
to
one.
point out that David used to work in a movie theater, so
Yeah.
he does appreciate this a lot more than I think I could ever.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and that's why for me, IMAX is when the screen is fucking 5 stories tall and the fucking surround sound is like some watts. It's like
1,000 watts or more.
No, it's like 200,000 watts or more. You could feel it in your rib cage.
I feel like that
Yeah.
is exaggerated.
When I saw The Dark Knight and when fucking gunshots were fired, you could feel the vibrations in your rib cage and shit like that.
The Dark Knight, yes.
Yes.
That's what I love.
That to me is the real IMAX, because sometimes if you just have the sound, you can take that IMAX logo and put that shit over it, and that's not the real IMAX. The real IMAX is when the screen is like your peripheral vision
Is engulfed.
and exactly. Yeah, and that's when 3D is the best, like Avatar. So I'm sorry, I just had to preface that.
It's all right, and that's what I'm talking about. That is the experience that I wish. That's why this movie we're probably gonna watch next week is we're gonna go watch that same movie by the guys that made Avatar.
Oh shit.
Battle Angel. What?
The Alina Battle Angel.
Dude, Christoph Waltz is in that shit.
The only reason I want to watch that is because I hear it's still playing in these theaters because they paid a big commitment to have it in there. And I feel like we can go watch it without people because that's another thing. It's like I do enjoy people like shouting things out, but sometimes I don't enjoy people shouting out stupid things.
I want to know what you think about that movie because I've been wanting to watch it.
All right. Well, that's gonna be my weekly thing. And then moving on.
No, wait, I haven't even said my point.
Oh, what's your point then?
Okay, so my point is like, okay, there's some movies that I reserve to see in IMAX, right?
Yeah.
But then there's that, expense factor where it's too expensive. And then there's also where there's certain series like Game of Thrones where you can't fit all that shit into a 2-hour movie. You just can't. Or Stranger Things.
Well, the one of the things was, if you remember Avatar: The Last Airbender, they tried to fit the entire series.
Saw it, really.
Okay, well,
Entire season
what M. Night Shyamalan, they try to put the entire series in one movie.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Should have
Yeah.
been done in
Yeah.
3 books the same way the series was. Like grab a whole one of the seasons and put it into one. And I don't know. I mean, it failed. I mean, this is another thing that kind of plays back into like what I'm talking about. The cinema experience is about a 2 to maybe 3 hour experience at most. And even then it has to be captivating. Like most people don't even complain about like the Wolf on Wall Street. Can you tell me how much the runtime was for that? No, because you're so captivated. Right?
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like it was that long.
was
and
long.
then I
It was
got
like
out. It was
2 hours and 30,
like,
3 hours almost.
It was
Really?
almost 3 hour
It was
movie.
long as shit,
It was
yeah.
long. It was a
No,
long
but
movie.
not because I didn't like it. It
The
was
longest
like,
porno
shit.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was good. I
But
saw
I
it.
did not
Era
get out of
porno,
that
güey.
thinking that I did not get out of that thinking that it was a long movie, right? Now, can you grab a series like that? I mean, the HBO production on some things is so amazing that running into a whole season of that, it's like it makes it an epic series, like Band of Brothers, like
Yeah.
The Pacific. You know what I
But
mean?
there's
And
a good.
that's
I
there's
love Band of
There's
Brothers.
a good example also. Aragon. I don't know if you know about that. It used to be a book. Aragon. It was with the
A series of books.
Yes, it was a trilogy.
Aragon.
And they made a fucking movie about it, and they just went in and they butchered, they raped this fucking book, and
Rip's
they
strong words.
completely rewrote the whole entire thing. They even put in John Malkovich, which is okay. That's an awesome actor, and they just destroyed the storyline of this book. This book was amazing. It was like a factor in my childhood. And
Well,
they
it all
destroyed it. It should have been a series on Netflix, and they're even trying to do it into like people are like, what do you call it? They're trying to do a whole, what is it called? Where they
The
try,
series, like a mini
they're trying to like make
Oh,
it
like
a-
the petition?
yeah, a petition. They're trying to make a petition to make it onto like Hulu or Netflix, just because like they didn't do it justice. You
Well,
know?
it all depends on what you're trying to convey. Because some things do fit better in a movie, or they're more complex storylines. They just fit better as a series.
Right.
And most things, I mean, if you really if you want to get into detail, well, just make a series. That's why I guess that's why they decided to make for instance like Game of Thrones, a whole bunch of series where each episode
It's like a movie almost.
It's like it's like almost like a movie,
Yeah.
and with almost movie quality. So that's one of the things that I would much rather appreciate.
And that's why I'm saying there's some facets to Netflix that works, and that's what I'm saying. It's like some things need to be indulged into a 1-hour episode kind of thing,
Unless
like
they want-
Westworld.
Unless
I
they
mean, can you have a Broadway musical that's as epic as like that? You know what I mean? It's like that was like
I mean, I don't watch music. Would you
mus-
say
Bro-
Broadway?
Broadway musical that's
No, I
like,
do.
and that's
I
why
totally
like,
do.
that's why the film industry took over, because like Broadway musicals, like, all right, you have to go. There's performing actors, but can you capture it on film? And then the film becomes the new American cinema classic, right? Like
Grease.
people go watch that. Yeah, and now you're going from like from film on at the movie theater to an at-home experience, because that's what people prefer, right? And it's like back in the day, not everyone had the resources to go to like a
Yeah,
film or Broadway
yeah,
film,
exactly.
because
It was
it was expensive.
Fuck yeah.
And then it went to film, and then the film became cheaper, and then now the film, like watching a movie theater film, like that's too expensive even for some of us. But $10 a month, that is very doable. And it's like that's where people are leaning towards. I mean, I have not seen it, but I mean, you have people like Will Smith making films specifically Bright, like that Bright movie when it came
That
out.
was good. Did you
was
see
good.
it?
Was it good? I
thought it was good, but my
well, I
my
mean,
sta- my
I'm not
standards
very
are low.
picky with
Me neither.
movies. Yeah. I watched like the worst movie ever on a first date with one of my girlfriends at the time. I watched the movie Bug, and it was kind of one of those.
Your ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, my
Bug?
girlfriend
What's
at the
that one?
time. So Bug. So I don't know if you watched like that. Remember like that phone booth movie?
Yeah.
Where the dude's in a phone booth the whole time,
Yeah,
right?
that one, yeah.
Yeah, it was probably
I
good.
thought that was great.
I thought it
But
was
no,
good too.
that movie was good. But Bug was basically just
Same concept.
no, kind of the same concept, but it's just literally at the beginning of the movie they do crystal meth, and that sets the precedence for the rest of the movie, where they think bugs crawling over them, and then there's like radio waves from like the government, so they like foil around the room. They were just tripping on crystal meth
Is that
in
the
a
whole movie?
in a shitty motel room. Yes, that was the entire movie, and I watched that with this girl. And you know what? At the time, I was like, "Oh, this was kind of cool." Like for me, thinking about the aspect, being a 19-year-old kid, I was thinking of the aspect. It's like, oh, like this was just like a mind. Yeah, exactly. But this is not the type of movie that you want to be watching with a girl you're trying to impress. So
That's
it
how I
was.
feel about like in general, like we were talking about podcasts at work, and everyone's saying like the kind of podcasts they're into, and everyone mostly will throw it like Joe Rogan, like like
Porn podcast.
Yeah.
No,
No.
See.
But there's a lot of podcasts that are about like murder. And I was like, that's one thing that would throw everyone off. And it's like, oh, I like to watch a lot of murder podcasts. And it was like,
Oh, cool.
Okay, we'll never hang out with you in public ever again or take drinks from you. Okay.
Yeah.
But those are really, really great podcasts, which on the same note as Ancestry.com, some like podcasts that are about certain crimes or certain murders done, explained on podcasts, have now got people listening to them and then coming back later and being like, oh, hey, I know that description from that podcast, and it's been getting people caught.
Yeah.
Which ones are you talking about? Which podcast?
There's an array of them, but I'll bring them up next time for sure. But it is a good number of them that I guess go into murders from like maybe 15 years ago, and they explain them and they explain who they think it is, and then
I love listening to that shit.
oh yeah, I love listening to
That's
them.
why the Golden State murder case, I was like, oh shit, like this is all tied into like the same thing. That's crazy. Yeah.
Definitely.
You should look it up if you haven't.
So moving on.
No, but go ahead. What's the next one?
What's the next one?
Let's see. I think it's where we always bring it down to here. The UFC fights.
All right. So
Can we just preface
I
this
saw like
with,
I saw
I think you have something to say, Jose.
Yeah.
I mean, how was your pick?
I
How
have
did that
something
go?
to say. Jorge Masvidal is the biggest cheater out there. No, I do not
He
think
kicked
that
him
at all.
straight in the dick.
I really feel like I was wrong on that pick. I didn't know a lot about him, and I've now, I've indulged in Jorge Masvidal's
He's so
character.
cool.
He is a badass. And the last time, I mean, no disrespect, like I didn't say it in a way where it's like I was just unknowledgeable. I even said that, right? Now seeing all the backyard fights into all his fights out there, like him, Ross Pearson knocking out Ross Pearson to now like knocking out Darren Till in an impressive
Even
fashion.
his losses, dude.
Oh, yeah.
They're all split decision.
Yeah.
Like could have gone either way.
I know, and now I feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves, and for him to come back on this platform and derail a hype train, which is I would like to also point out that Darren Till, I mean, for me, it's like he still has an arsenal of weapons and an imposing will in fights that I feel like he really, I mean, the Donald Cerrone fight to me is like a good example of Darren Till living up to a hype. And when you do have a lot of hype behind someone and him selling out London Arena over and over again, you know what I mean? That's a lot of pressure for a guy to go out and do that kind of stuff. Do I feel like, yes, okay, he has not only the Tyron Woodley fight that he just lost and now going into a back-to-back loss, like something to prove. Maybe he needs to go back and reanalyze where he's at, and maybe he needs to go back up to 170. He needs to go up to what is he at 170 right
a lot
now?
of people want him to go up in weight.
Yeah, he needs to go up in weight class. Like,
Is that what you think?
I really think he should.
I think if he stays in that weight class, I would like to see him fight Mike Perry. That would be a good
That'd be
fight.
good.
Oh, Mike Perry.
I love Mike
Thought you
Perry.
had a friend, boy.
Thought you had a friend.
I really think Mike Perry's trying to look for a fight too. Like it's like I have like two guys that I know on my radar that I want to see fight. One of them because I love and the other one because I hate.
Okay.
So Mike Perry, I need him to get a fight. I need him to come back out into and prepare. And I even see him on social media, like he's like saying like, oh, like I'm my wife, my
Yeah,
my
did you see
mom-
that he got he
Yeah.
proposed to his chick?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Well, they were broken up, and then they got back
Really?
together, and then he proposed to her.
Oh, amazing.
So hopefully that
Love
puts them.
exists.
You know, when you love exists. No, but I mean, like when you see that their shit is together, normally they do like a really good comeback because it's
Yeah.
like all their shit's together. You know.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I want to see him get something. He really deserves it. I love his personality, and I feel like they should give him a good fight to go out there and bang. Because like what he was saying is that
Stand and bang,
Yeah,
baby. Stand and bang.
He needs his wife and his well maybe now fiance and his mom were saying like, where's that animal that was like out there ready to rock? Like
Yeah.
he's very calculated now because he got rocked once, but maybe he needs to come back there and start swinging, dude. And I'm looking for a fight for him, and I'm still looking for a fight for Kevin Lee. Because
He went up.
and now now we're in the same way. Like he's looking for a fight. I don't personally like Kevin Lee that much, and his last fight, which you saw live, was the La Quinta fight,
That shit.
and that was crazy, right?
Yeah.
He's still coming away from that saying that he won that fight. I did not see that at all.
He signed a fight.
No, but he said he won the La
No,
Quinta
but they're signed. He's gonna fight Rafael dos Anjos.
He is.
Yeah.
Whoa. When?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
There's some
signed.
crazy fights, and every
And
time.
and it sucks because Rafael dos Anjos, I had a friend, Ivan, shout out, but he's the one that's like, dude, they always give Rafael dos Anjos all the hard fights, and it's true, man. Even Dana White said, he's like, oh, this is my guy that I use to find out if a guy is ready or if a guy is good in this division. He's like the gatekeeper, if you will.
Yeah, but I mean, on the counteract to that, it's also super easy for a guy like that to fight people and then derail like 2 or 3 dudes off the bat and be like, I'm ready for another title shot. Because that you could also throw him people that really have never been dragged out to deep water, and you can have them wreck them. I mean, like, what did people say about Chuck Liddell? Like, Chuck Liddell was always like the gatekeeper for Tito Ortiz at a point because he was just knocking dudes out and whipping dudes' asses like at like light heavyweight. And people always said like, oh, well then why don't you let him fight Tito Ortiz? And it eventually became a thing. But like there always has to be like a gatekeeper. Like who was like Keith Jardine at a point? I always used to point that out to you guys. Like Keith Jardine, they used to throw on people and the people would just knock out Keith Jardine to be like a stepping stone into like a top 5 fighter. Like, you know, like there's always guys like that. And like Keith Jardine to me is like still a great fighter. Like I feel like he was out there.
He beat Chuck Liddell.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that was post fact, right?
I'm sorry?
Post fact to him losing the title, like post Rashad Evans, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, it's not as impressive.
Still, no, but he was still, I mean, they were both on steroid. I mean, like, this was still the steroid era. Pretty sure Chuck Liddell was on some shit.
He was on the juice.
And they were on there. I mean, like Nate Diaz said, they're all on fucking steroids.
Everyone's on steroids.
Seriously. And speaking of steroids, what about TJ Dillashaw popping for all that shit? What do you think about that?
Yeah, when you texted me that, they're like, they're like, oh no, he's on the juice. I just thought you meant like he's ripped, and I was like, yeah, he is like on all the
man,
drugs.
he's really, nah, bro.
I mean, he has like, I don't know. I really feel like, I don't know what it is about like getting popped, but it's like I never saw that one coming.
Really?
Yeah. No.
What about when Cody Garbrandt said he's like, you're the one that taught everybody in Alpha Male how to get on the sauce and get under, you know, basically like get away with it.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No, I do not.
They're in the press conference and he said that shit, and then TJ was like, "Ha, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about." So, and then another thing to put in a factor is, remember when John Jones got popped, and then apparently he cooperated with the USADA. I'm sorry, guys. When he cooperated with USADA and like he disclosed information and they didn't know what happened, and now I'm like, dude, I feel like now all these popping's gonna happen. I don't know. Who knows? What if John Jones
is part of that?
Maybe he's like, oh, okay, this is how we microdose and get away with it and get under the radar. And now they're using that shit into their next tests, and that's how TJ got popped.
It could be. I mean, there's a lot of things, and there's also like the fact that like TJ is not like, he's not essentially gonna fucking hold on to that title and like wait for it. He just gave it up. And while
that to me seems like, I don't know. It feels like, especially TJ Dillashaw, who he is, that seems like he's guilty to me.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like the way he is, his person would hold on to that shit and be like, strip me because I'm innocent. Because that's how hard-headed he is. But for him to like release the title, it's like, there's some shit here. To me. I don't know.
I mean, we'll go into it over the next couple
We're
podcasts.
going so deep.
But I mean, this weekend again, I feel like we're getting fights every weekend. I'd say let's just start it off with the top 2. Those are the only ones I'm really concerned about. But from second up, we got Curtis Blades versus Justin Willis. Have you guys heard anything about that?
I know Curtis Blades a little bit. He's
Curtis
from Chicago.
Blades, yeah. Curtis Blades versus Justin Willis, I think, is a great fight. Justin Willis is very much, in my opinion, like a brawler. I feel like he's going to go out there and I mean, I saw an interview where he on MMA World where he just talks about how the factor is like, I don't even watch video on guys. Like, I just go out and do what I'm supposed to do. Because if I go out and I look at video over and over again, I'm looking for something that might not be there. AKA, like, not everyone does the same moves every time. And we saw that with Masvidal saying he's training to do a move that he's never really done before, and he pops it on Darren Till, like, last minute, gets a win, right? So he thinks that's like a crippling thing. I like Curtis Blades a lot. I feel like I root for him. I feel like him getting knocked out by Ngannou was like, I was like, because that guy was like on a tear for a bit. And I don't know if you know this, but Curtis Blades whooped Alistair Overeem beforehand. Yeah. So it's like I was pretty excited for that. I wanted Justin Willis to win that fight personally.
I go with Curtis Blades.
Really?
It's a matchup that's not going to be good for the other guy. And also, his wrestling is so good. It's just that Ngannou got him on that. Ngannou got Cain Velasquez.
It might be the same way that I love Derek Lewis and I want Derek Lewis to win. It's more of a fandom thing, I feel, but I have to say it as like I that's who I want to win. That's who I want to win, and I wouldn't bet on it, but I mean I definitely root for him. So the last fight or the headlining fight is Stephen Thompson versus Anthony
Showtime.
Pettis.
You know Showtime. He's the one that did that Matrix kick off the cage.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Wait, you mean the one where he jumps and then kind of like with
Off the
both
cage and
Off
then
the
yeah.
cage and then hits the guy with the same foot.
hell
That's
yeah.
a Showtime kick. Anthony Pettis is going to be fighting Stephen Thompson, a murderer.
Yep.
Fought for the title twice against Tyrone Woodley and lost both times. But I mean, pretty impressive showboats. I really, really want. I don't know who I root for in that one. I mean, who do you have? Who do you think will win that one?
Well, I always like the underdogs, but I feel like in this fight we have a variable that we never put into consideration where Anthony Pettis is moving up a weight class. He doesn't have to cut as much weight as he has in the past, and I feel like that's been a really big weakness in his other fights. And I feel like we're going to see it's very possible.
For him fighting 155, he's always had to cut weight hard.
Yeah, and that's like
Now he's
anytime
going
that
up to
we've seen him
170.
lose, he's never gotten knocked out. It's always like some kind of like,
Decision.
yeah, or like he breaks his wrist or like he gets hurt from the body or some shit.
I mean, let's talk about his last fight. He fought
Tony Ferguson.
and
He rocked him.
he was arguably winning that fight. I mean, Tony Ferguson is Tony Ferguson and cannot get rocked.
No, he got rocked.
And cannot get rocked.
He always
as in,
gets
like,
rocked in every single fight,
he
and that's why he's
does,
probably
but he
got all
comes
that
back and
CTE, and that's why he's acting all crazy now. Have you heard about that?
I know, I understand.
All right, sorry.
But he's like, cannot get rocked in the sense where no one's put him out.
Right.
No one's put him out.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, he goes into these wars, he comes back and he wins that fight, but he wins that fight through attrition. Like, like Anthony Pettis broke, I think
And I don't even think it's that. I mean, people break their wrists or whatever, and they keep going. I feel like his heart wasn't there. Pettis is.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that at all.
Because any other fighter would have been like, I don't give a fuck if you want to stop this fight. I'm going to the end.
He's a world champion, man. He's an ex-world champion.
But is the heart there?
Yeah, the heart is there.
I don't think so.
Guaranteed.
I mean, in that occasion, I don't think so. And I feel like maybe the weight cut.
Old?
No,
Yeah, he's old. But I mean, he's
in a
older.
sense- No. He has a guy he's in his corner, and it's his trainer, and it's his coach. And he's deciding, and they said, no, we're not putting him out there.
I know.
Okay.
It's
that's-
happened before
That's
where
what
people.
we've been calling for a long time. We want these coaches to be more involved. We want these coaches not to
Right.
send their
But
fighters
it's a
out to
broken
get
wrist. It's not like
damaged.
somebody's got like a broken orbital or somebody's been knocked out so many times.
You're-
I mean, in this
if I'm
case,
gonna-
it would have been like, dude, just
I'm gonna
fucking
grab
go
Kevin,
out.
and he's gonna break his wrist, and he's gonna go out there and fight against a cold-blooded killer like
Right.
Tony Ferguson. You're gonna say no
They
because
knew that he
Kevin
was
is
gonna-
weak
Right.
compared to him.
Oh my
Kevin
God.
is like
Alright.
a
Why you-
small
why you
insect that
burning
can get
fucking-
crushed in any given moment.
Hey, bro.
Like,
Dude,
you could
what the
probably
hell?
Put him out. You could probably just piss on him.
I don't know.
Just drown him.
What's happening? Why are you attacking me like this?
Okay, maybe. Okay, Kevin's way stronger than that. I could piss on Kevin, he'd be completely fine. He's like, listen. Okay, so what I'm saying is like, if I love Kevin, if I've been training with Kevin for forever,
Right.
and I know he's a cold-blooded killer too, but you're gonna throw him in a ring with another cold-blooded killer. Like, you're gonna say like, no, this is gonna debilitate him. What is his lead hand? It's his right hand, and this is right wrist that got broken. I'm pretty sure. So
I
like,
understand all that. I
So-
still feel there's been so many times where that has happened. They're like, should I stop this? And the fighter's like, fuck that. I'm going to go to the end.
but no one's ever died because of it. So no one really. He's just like,
Yes.
let's put yourself in the space of his coach. I feel
Also, Anthony Pettis is like leg strong. He could have, he could have been like, screw it. Let me see if I can land some crazy shit, which I always
like,
do. You know?
Yeah, I know.
But-
And and your point is very true too, because I mean, how many times have you seen somebody like Whitaker go out and say he broke his hand like in the first round, and still gone?
In order for Whitaker to pull out a fight, he has to be like an inch from death.
Yeah.
So, but okay, I'm sorry. But the one thing that's what I'm saying is like this fight, he doesn't have all that weight to cut. I feel like we're going to see another level in Anthony Pettis. We might see an upset. I feel like if I had to choose somebody, I'd be like, my heart's with Anthony Pettis. I want him to pull
I
an
want
upset.
Anthony Pettis to win this one too. And I feel bad saying that because Stephen Thompson.
He's
is
probably
all-
gonna. I mean,
is a
Stephen
killer.
Thompson's probably gonna win him, but because he has the reach, he has the size, he has everything. But
Yeah, Stephen
want
Thompson
Anthony Pettis
also
to win.
lost that fight against Darren Till, and a lot of people say that was very close and shouldn't have happened. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. So, all right, bet on it.
all right, what do you want to bet?
All right, I'll go against.
But
the
we're
grain.
going against the same guy.
No. I'll
Betting
Stephen
is
Thompson
illegal.
this thing.
Okay, what do you want to bet?
Betting is illegal.
You'll buy the lighting for the camera, and if I lose, I'll buy the lighting for the camera. Kevin wins no matter what.
Hey, I like these.
All right,
bets.
let's do
I
this.
like these.
Let's do it.
Shake.
You want to do it?
Shake it.
All right, we'll do it.
Sweet, they both
Steven
make more
Thompson's
money.
gonna
than me.
film me down. All right, let's do this.
deal.
Hopefully that can be edited out.
Kevin's like, "Fuck yeah, I win no matter what." These stupid motherfuckers.
Stupid idiots. That's what I do. I just sit here and get insulted and like I'm an insect. All right. Anything
All
else?
right. No, that seems to be it. So,
Wait, what about them trailers? What about Quentin Tarantino, Toy Story?
oh yeah,
All right, let's talk
I haven't
about
seen it.
trailers.
We saw him right before the thing.
Yeah, you weren't here because you're not a real
Because you're
friend.
not a regular, bro.
I was driving.
Were you driving? It's all
Man,
right.
while you were driving, we was watching. Go ahead.
All right, Toy Story 4. What do you guys think?
Oh, dude, I love the Toy Stories.
Yeah.
What, Toy Story 3? I cried. I'll tell you, I cried.
Were you in
Where?
theaters?
In which part? The
Yeah,
end?
I think so.
Yeah, when they're gonna burn into a fucking
Yeah,
ball of
I was like-
flames.
No, for me it was kind of towards the end. Like,
Oh, when they say goodbye?
Yeah. After Andy.
Did
kinda
you
dropped
actually
him
tear
off.
up, Carlos?
Not too much, but I got
Carlos, I don't
a
think I've
little
ever
bit of
seen you
small.
cry.
feeling,
Yeah, I don't
like-
think you cry because you're like a total psycho.
I like that one.
I'm just in control of my feelings. That's all.
Yeah, so are psychopaths.
No, go ahead. What was the
the
scene?
part? What was the scene?
Yeah, what part?
But yeah, it was at the very, very end when Andy drops him off.
Yeah,
At
when he's
the,
like, goodbye, so
Oh,
long,
yeah.
cowboy, or something like that. Oh,
yeah, something like that. That's
Yeah.
when it kind of was a little bit, but other than that, the whole movie was fun.
Carlos was like, what are these
I think the best
feelings?
part about that is that there's this like toy that's in there, but it's a toy made by the person, like
Oh, the
like,
new one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
In Toy
Is it
Story 4,
spork
it's
or
a
some shit?
spork, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then everyone's like tries to treat it with respect, but it's like, some bitches. And he's like,
I'm not supposed to live this long.
Like, I don't know. I thought at one point it was going to be like a movie about like euthanasia, where it was just like, kill me, please. I don't want to
Dude,
be
what
here.
about Bo Peep coming back into the picture?
Wait,
bro?
can someone bring that back
Yeah.
into the?
I'll
Where
bring
did
it
Bo
back for
Peep
you.
go away? I didn't
Toy
even-
Story 3, right in the beginning, they're like, oh, and about Bo Peep. And they're like, oh, so sad.
Okay.
They just kind of like
Who's that?
reference.
Is that the penguin?
No, that's the chick.
No, yeah, Bo Peep,
Is
you
that
know,
the
was
penguin? No.
was like Buzz Light's girlfriend for a little bit, right? Or-
No, that's the cowgirl.
Oh, the cowgirl was Buzz.
Jessie. No,
No,
no.
yeah,
Oh, Bo
Peep
Peep
is the
was
chick
Woody's
that's-
girlfriend.
That's
Who's
Woody's
Bo?
girl.
Which one's Bo?
She's the
Peep?
one with the
I forgot.
sheep.
She's the
Remember?
one with the sheep.
The lamp.
Yeah, the sheep
yeah,
and the
no,
big
wait,
ass.
no, wasn't she Woody's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Something?
and the first
And then in the
second
third one, they just say like, "Oh, she's dead now," and they just like,
Really?
and they just reference her for like 10 seconds. They're like, "All right, well, anyways,
All right, let's go back to making a
Yeah,
fucking great Pixar
let's
movie
do
worth
it. Yeah,
millions.
let's do this
Wow.
without her."
I totally missed out on that.
I remember I was so pissed. Like, what the fuck? They just killed her off like that. What the hell? And then now they reference like now he finds her and like where she's been.
She's in this like
Oh,
fucking wasteland. Like, look, she
nice.
looks like she's like upgraded through like attrition. Like she's had to make herself like this new character through like living in the streets.
She's Wonder Woman now,
know,
but just
right?
a toy version
Oh
and
my
shit.
God, it's so
Captain
brutal.
Captain Marvel kind of thing.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, it looks like it,
All
it
right,
could. It has
Carlos
potential.
won't like this film now because
He's like,
I mean, maybe.
All right, and now moving on to another trailer. So, Stranger Things season 3.
dude, did you see that one? Damn, you haven't seen
No.
nothing, Carlos.
No, because I try to avoid movie trailers or trailers in general because many times they just spoil everything in the
Yeah,
trailer.
that's true.
So I'm just trying to like. Find,
That's why he
I'm
just
not gonna
watches
watch
porno
it.
instead.
Bullshit I've seen.
Yeah, because honestly, I think I've only watched like the first 30 seconds of trailers of the end game of Marvel.
Oh, okay.
So I think because after that I'm like, eh.
They already announced on there that there was like a bunch of like there's so many things. So like for example, let's just hit it back to Infinity War. The best scene in there where it just gets me fucking riled up.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, like the one. Oh yeah. It gets me riled up. Is like the scene where everyone's like
Power
running
Rangers?
running forward in Infinity War, like for the trailer for Infinity War, right?
yeah.
And you see the Hulk in there, right? But the Hulk only comes out at the beginning of Infinity War when
yeah,
he fights
he wasn't in
Thanos.
the real
He
movie.
wasn't in the real movie.
What the hell?
So I got me all riled up, and I was like, "Well, I said, dude, I'm waiting for the Hulk to bust it." Because whenever the Hulk busts out, I feel like it's like my boy coming out from like when I was like 13, and I was like, "I'm gonna show all these bitches what's up." And then at 19, I was just like coming out like, "Ha ha!" god. So like when I see him busting,
I was with him when he was 15. That never happened. Go ahead.
never happened at 19 either. It was pretty sad. So like I see that happening. Like I was super excited, and then it never happens during the film. So like now the Endgame trailer, the guys have come out and said like there's some footage in there that's not going to be in the film. Just want to put that out there because it's just like fake footage.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the Power Rangers footage might be fake.
Those suits are coming out.
Are you
Which
sure?
dudes are
Yeah.
coming out?
What
The
if
white
it's fake?
suits, yes,
Yeah,
with the
in the
AM.
Oh, dude, I like
those
those.
suits.
I like those
What if it's
suits.
fake though?
What if it's fake?
Be so fake, dude.
I don't know.
Dude, what's wrong with you,
Power
man?
Rangers kind of thing. I don't know.
The Power Rangers were cool, bro.
Yeah, the Power Rangers was
Yeah,
great suit.
I don't like them.
Carlos, I'm gonna need you to shut up.
But they all had he said he liked them though.
I said, the cool Power Rangers were the first Power Rangers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But what about like I mean they all had their own identity. They all had their own costume. That was cool. Thor was all
I just want the
jacked and
Hulk
shit.
to wear his own little.
And now
white
they all
suit.
got like them white little suits, that was,
Which, like,
gender neutral and shit.
We were watching
Gender neutral
Captain
suits
Marvel
and
was
all
not in
that.
that.
We were
She
watching
was
that,
not wearing those
what
suits.
was that Hulk movie
But
we
everybody
were
else was.
Yeah.
Hulk versus
There
Thor.
was also someone else.
Oh
that was
yeah,
not
yeah.
wearing
We
it.
were
I
watching the
forgot who.
cartoon Hulk versus Thor or
to bring
whatever.
it all back like to the suits. I
Iron
kind of
Man
want to see
collar.
like Hulk wear like the white suit. I don't know why I
They
think
just
that'd be
rip out
so
of it.
comedic because Kevin while watching like,
Oh,
Hulk
yeah,
versus
yeah,
Thor
yeah,
was like, what are those pants made out of?
Yeah. So we were watching like the animated series of the Hulk versus Thor, and I was just like, dude, I want those pants.
Yeah, I kind of want to see where, like, if that was like a brand that said like, "Oh, strong enough to conceal this Hulk glory," and I'll be like, I think I'm
sounds
sounds
like
for them
Hulk.
shits. Yeah, Hulk Hogan announcing the Hulk pants. Brother.
It's probably made out of the same material that the purple mattresses are made out of. They're like
yeah.
super elastic and shit.
Oh,
Did you get the pillow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the pillow. I want to get the bed so bad, but I don't have a grand to
All
just
right,
throw
we'll,
down.
we'll
Like,
review. We'll
What
review
band?
that on 10 podcasts.
Sponsored by Purple Mattress.
And then the last thing, right? So let's talk about what was the last trailer?
Quentin Tarantino?
Yes, Quentin Tarantino's new film, Welcome to Hollywood. What is it?
Once Upon a Time in
Once
Hollywood.
Upon a Time in Hollywood. Have
That
you guys
was
seen
fun.
the trailer to this?
No.
No.
Of course not.
This is going to be the 9th film for Quentin Tarantino.
Which
He's
he
only,
said,
will only make 10.
damn, that's crazy.
It's got Leonardo DiCaprio.
Crapio.
That's fine.
Hey, he's an amazing actor.
Amazing. Okay,
How dare you,
The only
sir.
reason I say that is because people say it so much around me,
I
and it's
don't,
just imprinted
I
on
don't
me.
hang out with those people.
I know they're not on the
up,
podcast, man. It's fucking fun.
DiCaprio.
DiCap.
All right,
Sure
let me
say.
swear
DiCaprio.
a little then. All right, but-
DiCaprio.
oh,
Ándale.
DiCaprio. Dude,
I'm alright, maybe
Carlos
I
being all
didn't
fancy
say
with
it.
it.
But and it also has Brad Pitt in it, and it's too.
They've never been in a Quentin Tarantino movie. They've never been together. Which like they're two legends. You got what is Aldo Rain, Lieutenant Aldo Rain, and you got fucking
Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Yeah, they have, but
Which
not
one?
a Quentin Tarantino one. I don't know, some other shit.
All right.
But they never been in a Quentin Tarantino movie though. Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
I want my scalps.
Yeah, I want my scalps.
I want my scalps.
Yeah, and
We might watch that film afterwards.
well, yeah. And then the other guy was that Candy, right? The something Candy, the guy from Django, the slave
The
owner.
Python.
No.
Django. The
Oh,
programming
yeah.
language.
Yeah, when he played
Yeah.
the slave owner, John Kennedy.
I don't know
Oh,
his
yeah.
character's name.
You know,
But it was good. I mean, I'm super excited for that film. I really want to see it in theaters.
yeah.
Beatrice.
I really feel like it'll be great. It's something I anticipate as much. And here's where I come kind of clean for something. I haven't seen The Hateful Eight.
Is that a chick flick?
No, it's not. It's the last film by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, you said what? You haven't seen the what?
The last film, The Hateful Eight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not that good.
Really?
Not to me.
Oh my god, really?
I don't know. I didn't like
Django
it.
was so great.
Yeah, Django was great.
Django had a great
Amazing.
amazing dialogue. It's like even that scene where he's like there's a guy running through the field and he's about to kill him and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
he's like
He's like, is that him?
Is that him?
I think
Is it-
so.
is
He's
like,
like,
are you
are you
sure?
positive?
Are you
And
positive?
he's like, what positive mean?
yeah,
And
he's like
are you
I don't know. He's like, you're not sure if you know it. He's like, I don't know what positive means. Like,
Yeah.
it's
And
just
he's
like,
like, I'm
that's
sure that's him. He's like,
yeah. Murder.
yeah.
Murder.
I got murder on my mind.
Murder on my time. So if that's it, I think it's time.
Yeah. So yeah. So guys, meet us next week. We'll figure out what we're talking about. working on a few improvements on the show. Obviously, audio is probably a lot better than it has been.
At least my mic is on this time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna work on like there's a lot of editing issues. We'll probably work on bringing down timestamps for certain conversations. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be on next week. See you guys. Hello and welcome to the show of the SNP podcast. I would like to introduce you into our co-host, David, the rock'n'roller.com.
Bipolar rock and roller. What's up, motherfuckers?
Yeah.
Josie. AKA Limp Brisket, AKA Ring a Ding Ding, here come my dingaling.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
AKA
Faggy